Hey guys, how are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? Me? I'm meh, but that's because of this movie. Hey, I'm Lauren, and instead of doing the reactions and first time watches, this time I saw this movie on my own in my local Regal. Let's do a straight out of the theater review. This movie is a sequel to the critically acclaimed Gladiator, came out in 2000, starring Russell Crowe. We follow Maximus as he finds himself on the wrong side of the people in charge and is now a gladiator in the fighting pits. We see his leadership, we see why he wants revenge, and his compelling relationships until, well, I won't spoil. I won't tell you all of that movie. It did come out 24 years ago, but you should go see it. You're going to see it yourself. This one, Gladiator 2, I'll stay spoiler free for now, but we will jump into some spoilers because I have specific things to say about this movie. Now, in this movie, we follow Lucius. He is very similar to the first movie, sold into slavery, bought by Denzel's character, who is his owner, and he does gladiator fights. We follow his leadership, we follow his comrades, we follow his journey to get revenge on General Acacius, and that's about it. We don't know very much backstory besides he wants to see the downfall of tyrants in Rome, not necessarily Rome itself, and he'll do whatever it takes to get that. He gets the approval and the praise of the crowd very easily because he's a good fighter. They throw everything at this man, from other fighters to dogs that were like wolves, some CGI creature. There's a rhino, there's just a lot going on. And he fights, he wins. I think that's all I can say without actually having some spoilers, but let's just jump into the spoilers. The thing I will say about this movie is it's shot impeccably. Everything, and plus seeing it on the big screen, it was beautiful. Every fight scene, minus one that I will get into later, was great. I was on the edge of my seat. I loved all the bloodshed, which sounds horrible, but when I go to an action movie, I'm looking for blood. I'm looking for creative kills. I'm looking for just myself to be, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I want out of my action. That's what I got out of this Gladiator. It had me. What didn't have me are the characters. The movie takes place 16 years after the original, and now we have two emperors that are twins who have taken control of Rome. They are bloodthirsty tyrants, and that's said multiple times in this movie. But that's all I know about them. Actually, in my notes, I wrote Emperor 1 and 2 because they leave no impact. We know one throwaway line that says they were raised by a wolf and have that in their blood, and they suckled at the teat of her while they were babies. That's it. Unless I missed something, that's all we know about them. And granted, I could have missed something. I could go back and watch again. I won't. But is it saying something about your movie that I don't know anything about the people in charge? Yes. Next, we have Lucius, our titular bitchular, if you will. He is our main character. He is the one we should be rooting for. He is not a leading man, in my opinion. He doesn't give that je ne sais quoi. He doesn't have that oomph. He doesn't have that fight in him that you really want to see in a leading man. Despite them telling you many a times that this man has that rage. Now, he does have a revenge story. I'll give him that. But that's about it. We actually find out later on, about an hour and a half, if not 2 hours into the movie, he's actually the son of Lucilla from the first movie. He's the son of Lucilla and Maximus, and he was sent away, which we know, because he was next in line for the throne after Commodus died. And there were many powerful people who were wanting to come after him and kill him. But that doesn't make me want to root for him just because he has royalty in his blood. It definitely doesn't make me want to root for him when his entire motivation was to get revenge on General Cassius, and then the next scene he was okay with not killing him, and then the next scene he was rising up in his honor. What? Then we get into Lucilla, which is his mom, and she was kind of a nothing character. We see that she has remained in the status she was in the first one, now being married to General Cassius. She's still in that power. She's still has that influence, and now her husband is the general in the great army of Rome. But besides that, we could do without her. She eventually starts thinking, hey, I think that's my son over there. And that was her son because he reveals that he knows a certain poetry. She goes into his chambers, he's being held as a slave, and confronts him. You're my son. You are Lucius. I love you. I'm your mom. He's having nothing of it. He is angry. He's bitter. She sent him away ultimately and didn't come looking for him. Classic story. We get that. That's really all of their relationship. She has 2 or 3 conversations with him. The third one being the one that really flips the switch for him all of a sudden. But I didn't really like it. Speaking of Pedro Pascal's character, he is the general. And although he is great at his job and the crowd and the people love him because he keeps winning these battles for Rome, he has a secret plan to get 5,000 men who are loyal to him and rise up against these tyrants that are the twin emperors. He doesn't get to see it to fruition because it is leaked from a nosy chambermaid that they are going in, him and a group of about 10 men, to save Lucius because it's his wife's son, and they get captured. His men get killed, he gets thrown into the pit and forced to fight to the death with Lucius. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it with his character. He had a grand plan. It didn't come to fruition. Had potential. Gave us nothing. You see how this list is adding up? We got Lucius. We got Lucilla. We got General Cassius. Next on that line of characters who was giving us nothing, I'm sorry to say, is Denzel's character. Although he was the best part of this movie, he's the best part of any movie, his character started shining way too late. He's the one who does these gladiator fights, and he has an agenda. It was very interesting that they didn't tell us more about his backstory, because it was hinted at that he has a vendetta of his own because Marcus Aurelius captured him. He has the mark of slavery, and we don't really know too much else. We know that he changed his name to be more of a Roman name, but that's it. There are so many characters in this movie, and I know a collective 5 facts about them all. But besides all of that, we get Denzel being his finest, being manipulative, being cruel, kind of, and he basically is in charge. He takes control by being secretive. He's whispering something to one emperor, he's whispering something to the next, and is eventually manipulating one of the emperors who they played to be a little mentally challenged or disabled, and he's ruling in his favor. He gets Emperor 1 to kill Emperor 2 by his own hands. He's literally grabbing the knife, and I won't be too graphic, but then he's in charge. Denzel finds himself second in command to a monkey, but that's a different story. Second in command, and then kills off the emperor himself. It's not interesting. This movie had so much potential, and it was following such a great original that it just falls flat. Now, that's just me. That's my straight out of the theater thoughts. I don't think I'll see this again. If I do, it'll be once it comes to streaming. I cannot recommend the original enough, but as for this one, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Was I being a little too harsh on some of these characters? And if so, give me your opinion down there in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell so that way you know when the next time I upload a video is, or the next time I go to the movies and just want to vent and tell you all about it and give my straight out of the theater reactions. I really appreciate you guys listening to my rant, and till next time, peace.